Business, and I am so delighted to be here talking about what's going on with you and your business. We're going to talk a little bit about real estate. This is the second time you're on in the last week, is that right? Shannon Register, we're getting lots of her, and she's an extraordinary realtor and a great friend of the program and a great resource to this show, and always glad to have you on.
Thank you. Today we've got joining us Dr. Jim Gaines from Texas A&M University's Real Estate Research Center in the Mays Business School with over 30 years of experience. We're real excited to have him on. He's the right person to give us a housing forecast for 2011. Oh,
very good. I think that's something that everyone would like to hear. And I'm assuming, even though you're from A&M, of course, is a nationally respected university. You might be able to give us some insight of what's going on nationwide. Jim, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Why don't you, first of all, tell us about your center there?
Well, the center is 40 years old next year. We are funded by the licensees in the state of Texas, and it's a fairly unique center around the country in the fact that our mission is to simply provide better real estate information and analysis for everyone in the state of Texas so they can make better real estate decisions. And for anyone who's listening and may be interested in getting data or reading what we're having to say and copies of all of our speeches and so on, you can go to our website at recenter.tamu.edu and download everything we do.
Okay, give that one more time.
recenter.tamu, the acronym for Texas A&M University, .edu.
Got it. Very good. Why don't you jump in, Shannon, with questions?
Well, I would just like to hear what you think how we're looking for 2011. We've got a lot of people who don't really believe we're coming out of the recession, and I know you've got a lot of indicators that we are coming out of the recession. At least Texas is. We hope Houston is lead the way. So I wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Well, it is a mixed bag, and it depends on what you want to look at. But there's two or three things that, if you look at them, and if they don't get a whole lot better, then it's hard to see how there's much improvement. And you start with jobs. Right now, the whole key to not only nationally, but in the state of Texas and in Houston, are we going to be adding jobs, and are people going to go back to work and have incomes and be able to buy things, including houses? And nationally, the improvement on the job front is moving very slowly indeed. There's some new jobs being created. The private sector is doing it, but it is not of any tremendous magnitude. The good news for us down here, Texas seems to be leading the way. We are experiencing some fairly significant by the last 3 or 4 years rates of growth in our employment, and Houston is keeping pace with that, and we're beginning to see a break in that. So we're a little more optimistic, if you will, about the state of Texas and Houston and the other major metropolitan areas in Texas, maybe more than we are of the national economy. I think we can safely say that Texas is most definitely showing signs of recovery. Houston is showing signs of recovery even better than the national picture.
Yeah, I want to mention real quick because, again, I'm getting a lot of feedback as well on the board. I think you really hit the nail on the head. You can't really even qualify for a home unless you don't have a job.
Right.
And you got the highest unemployment that we've experienced since the Great Depression for the longest period of time. We're now beating Jimmy Carter in terms of unemployment numbers. That is, and I'm not being facetious, that's this economic reality that the media doesn't talk about a great deal. But that is really the precursor to some serious recovery in the whole housing market. True?
It's a precursor for recovery in all of the markets, be it housing or just the general economy. Let me give you a couple quick numbers. In the year 2000, when we were all worried about Y2K, but coming into the first decade of the new millennium, as it were, we had, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the United States, we had about 5.25 million people unemployed, or an unemployment rate of plus or minus around 4.5%. When we ended the year of 2009 and looking at about mid-year 2010, we've got more than 14.5 million people unemployed with an unemployment rate just shy of 10%. And you're right. Until people have a job and have income, and incidentally, under the lot of the lending guidelines going on right now, it's not a matter of just having a job. You need to have had it for a while and shown some income stability. So yes, it's and ask any of the real estate agents a few years ago, having a job was not necessarily a major hindrance in buying a home. Today, it's a major deal killer.
Okay, I want you, Shannon. Other question? Jump right in.
Absolutely. I wanted to see what you think about the foreclosure crisis. You think we're going to get better or worse in 2011?
About the same as 2010.
About the same, okay.
The problem is there's such a backlog going on, and of course the recent robo-signing gate or whatever it's called. Yeah. All of those problems have simply delayed or postponed a lot of the foreclosure issues to the extent that we're moratorium, or at least the various lenders and so forth were having to go back and clean up paperwork and so forth. It basically forced all of the problems of foreclosure and pushed them out further into the future. So I don't see 2011 being significantly better on the foreclosure front than 2010. Maybe the hope here for next year is that by the end of the year, maybe we'll be seeing the beginning of the end of the foreclosure problems. Most of the loans that were made in 2006, 2007 that are among the highest delinquents right now, if we can work those through the system and get those properties cleared in the market, then we have a chance for the private market and the quote unquote the normal market to come back and get us back into balance and start looking ahead. But that's going to be a major work through. I did some arithmetic the other day. At the national level, we're probably still starting today or the January of 11. We're probably looking at a minimum of a year and a half, maybe 2 years to clear a lot of the excess inventory.
Oh, yeah.
Now, again, let me take us back to some better news for our listeners, and that is that Texas does not have the majority of the excess. Our foreclosures have been up in the state. Yes, we're not immune from those kinds of problems. But by and large, our market and markets, Houston, for example, have been able to absorb a lot of the foreclosure properties without running a major excess or a prolonged excess supply. So we look in pretty good shape for that. So Texas, again, is, by comparison to what I'm saying for the national situation, is much, much better.
Yeah. Hey, let me interject real quickly. Where are they now, Shannon, on the moratorium situation? Is that pretty much behind us largely? Are they moving on?
Moving forward, moving on. As long as we can keep this national moratorium out of the picture, I think we're going to move on. Everybody seems to be, we still have problems every once in a while, but things seem to be moving forward. There's still a lot of short sales on the market. I think that we're starting to make a little headway in making it easier for the short sales to go through. I did have one this year that took 10 months to close.
That wasn't very short.
No, not at all. But then I've had others that only took 3 months, which is really good.
That is short.
We normally say 3 to 6 months to close a short sale.
But 10 isn't that long either. I mean, if it's a normal sale, that would be fairly.
Unless you don't have somewhere to live.
Yeah, that's true. That's inconvenient, to say the least. But in most cases, short sales, you get to stay there until they're done.
There have been some instances where the bank will let them go ahead and move in, but normally they don't. Normally they're waiting to move in. So it depends on the bank.
Interesting. So it seems to me, a lot of people are concerned, and rightly so. I see it on the priceofbusinesstv.com chat, which I encourage everyone to be a part of that chat because it's awesome. Like I say, it's often a show within a show. They'll catch a topic you're talking about, and then they'll go into some depth in that whole deal. And I hear it, of course, all the time, is that, of course, the real estate industry is going to project the best possible image. What I think people tend to have is a one-dimensional view of the real estate industry. And Jim, I'd like you to comment on this as well. The reality is that there's people making money no matter what the situation is when it comes to real estate. Jim?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I had occasion here just within the last month to give a presentation to a group of people who specialize in buying single-family properties, for investment purposes, for renting or resale, and they are among the ones who are looking at this current market as being one of tremendous opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And also we should point out and talk a little bit about there's been a real uptick in the residential single-family rental market. A lot of these properties that are being sold are being bought by people who are investing, who are taking them out of the ownership market and putting them in the rental market.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are so many people who need rentals right now because once they've done a short sale, they don't qualify for a loan for another 2 years.
I mean, we got more people who have been foreclosed and have done short sales
They
than
have to rent now.
than ever, at least since the 20s. And well, I would say than ever, and they all need places to rent.
right.
They're fixing to let us go, Jim. I was just thinking we need to get you back on to talk about this kind of stuff more. Great information. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I look forward to it anytime.
You bet. How do we reach you there, Shannon?
You can always find me on the web at rrea.com. Our office number is 832 628-7355. Actually, that's my cell phone. That's the best way to reach me.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
The office number is 281-288-3500.
And that website one more time.
rrea.com. You can also see all of our videos at rrea.tv.
Awesome. That's fantastic. All right, good stuff. And the videos are awesome. They're a lot of fun. You can also find them at my Facebook page. I put them there both at the fan page for the show and my personal page often. All right, I'm Kevin Price. That was a great segment. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the intellectual property rights area with one of the leading experts on it right here on Talk 650, powered by CBS Radio.